Bonjour, welcome back, Jacques Marceau. Hello, back on to Mr. Jack Blackley episode. This one a bit more in depth, maybe not an episode, but a little bit of creational understanding, a bit more minding into the movie itself, to where I was talking it up as Mr. Jack Blackley in the main broad spectrum, to where you understand how Adam gets put within from that being abducted by the Middle Eastern organised crime terrorist situation here in Australia. Yeah, as I go in now, I sort of break it into a bit more in depth as we take it to extend the file to give the movie some basis, a few more, to where we can get some editings and some talkings and whatnot. Let it on is where we go now to say the Middle Eastern terrorists in, say, Cogra Rockdale, as the Middle Eastern areas go into it, right? This is where there's a Dr. Funkton. Let's just say, he's like Dr. Death, trying to play God with people, abducting, say, no-hopers in the way, homeless, destitute, say, like street walkers, prostitutes, and all sort of hopeless, like people who are not doing so well in life. And this poor fucking people not deserve this. And these are Middle Eastern organised terrorists of Australia going out of their way to try and further themselves from the abduction of these people here in Australia. As Adam is not the first one, but this is what led it on to the job file that Mr. Jack Blackley had to set it up in the first place, because people were getting abducted, is what was left out of the movie of it. This is why I put this in now a bit more in depth, to give it, for those people who stay up to date, follow on and keep up. As I go into it, long story short, you go like for furthermore to like say, well, they abduct these people, say the prostitutes and all, they're trying to play mind God, like the retraction of the mind, and trying to open in, like, if you see the eye of Lucifer, there's like this devil cult shit and all this other weird fucked up shit that doesn't really go on very much, but like sadistic type crisis mode, like sicko shit. Anyway, they're putting a cordless drill into people's skull to try and look in there, like with like the, say, the optic viewfinder for like the internal of your belly. They're trying to look in the brain like they're going to see what your eyes see in the middle of your head, to try and work that basis out in, say, some crummy, scummy fucking meth lab in some rundown Cogra Rockdale junkie fucking Muslim fucking area. I'm like, what the fuck, freaking out in this, like, basically I was talking it over with a mate and we're G'ing it up on this, and it just got wilder and wilder. It's like, Van Wilder, hey, how you doing? Long story short, when it come out of it, it got a bit wild, these stories. So the more, this is how I basically put it. The vortex spiral of understanding is like a 3D holographic fan. If you're familiar with a 3D holographic fan, how they spin around and give the projection of 3D image, it's pretty much where, say, inside the mind, the vortex within creation itself, to give the relativity of understanding to like the basis of humanity or life itself on the earth, is still speculation. It's like the Big Bang theory of people, like to how we can understand three-dimensional in front of us, but our computerization and all that stuff is still new in the way of it. A lot of people, smart tech scientists, rare like universities are onto it with us and shit, but layman's terms, a lot of people get a bit confused. Maybe don't get too held off and scaredish. It's just some smart tech stuff. Say like the understanding as to how we have optics in and the basis of understandings, like to know this lighter is actually there and that it's actually lit, is like the basis of relativity of understandings. And like once you start jeopardizing that, it's like where that lighter doesn't exist, and it's like some crazed man on the street just going like this, thinking there's a lighter, and people look, is that guy tripping? And it's like in that guy's mind, he's literally lighting that lighter the same as you seen it here, lighting that on the screen. There's this what it gets a bit wild over. Anyway, so these Kerbers trying to break the understandings of the relativity of the basis. And they were stealing this, they were killing these people, just like disposing of their bodies and whatnot in like horrific understanding. This is why it's a bit more in depth to Mr. Jack Blackley. It's sort of what leads on to how he gets Adam the Land Walker into it in the basis for where he puts him into action to get abducted from that party in the way of it to where his job files start in the creation of understanding as to how he goes back onto the goes back to save Mr. Jack Blackley in the way of it, where to catch these people he knew how hard it would be, so he puts himself into the basis to get taken from the laboratory in the first place. But to where he'll need Adam to back him all the way out of it, because he's tracked in that like Skynet, like location tracker, how they track our animal marine life, like the trackings of the sharks in the ocean, like GPS tracker and all that. But anyway, long story short, that's quick 6 minutes into our upgrade understandabilities, working on some new stuff. It's getting pretty good. These stories are writing up themselves, basically. Anyway, I'm Jacques Marceau. Peace.